How do I get to this location? Upstairs? Thank you.
My favorite
No,
agent.
David Lynch is not coming.
Good choice. Or Ben Ward, Richard Bieber. He could have been great too. Not me. Not me. The whole idea of me being the killer of my own daughter was anathema to me. I have to tell you, when I thought it could possibly be me, and they were going to lay that on me, I'm going to quit. For a couple of nights, I said to myself, I can't do this. I cannot do this. And then I thought, I'm going to be sued all to hell. So I better do whatever they tell me to do. So, hoping it wouldn't be me, I got a call from David and Mark Frost, and they said, come up to a room in the studio, and we have something to discuss with you. Shit. I know what they're going to discuss with me. Okay. So, there goes the water. And so, I went up to this room on the second floor of the studio, and I walked in, and it was dark. And there was no furniture in the room. It was devoid of furniture. There was only a lava lamp in the corner. Yes? And a brown carpet, yeah. And over in one corner was David Lynch, Mark Frost, SHERYL, Richard Bieber, Ben Horn, sitting cross-legged on the floor, Indian style, you know. I mean, David American style. I'm sick, you know. And anyway, I'm 78 years old, you know. I still believe in the Cleveland Indians. You know? They're my team. You know? I died. No. I'm off on a tangent here I don't want to get on. So they're sitting down there on the floor. So I walked over and I sat cross-legged on the floor. And I looked at them, and they looked back at me, and then David leaned over and touched me on the knee, and he said, Ray, it's you. It's always been you. I said, oh God, shit, no. It couldn't have always been me. Come on. But it was. And he said, but Ray, it's going to be a beautiful thing. I'm going to die in Cooper's arms. He's going to be reciting the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And I'm going to be looking down a long tunnel. And at the end of it is a bright light. And in that bright light is my daughter Laura forgiving me. He painted such a beautiful picture that I had to go along with it. You know, I just had to go. Okay, I'll do what you tell me to do, and I'll do it. And I did that scene, and it was a beautiful thing. It really was. It was very cathartic for me as an actor and as the character, certainly. And it was beautifully written. So.
Thank you, Ray. And I'm going to ask you a follow-up. a scene that I think should have won an Emmy. Your confession scene in the same episode where you die. I'm curious about the moment where Cooper asked you if you killed Laura Palmer and you start doing that hooting noise and say that's a yes. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came to be? And anything else you'd like to tell us about that?
Oh, you mean the confession scene when I'm dying, actually?
But when he asked you if you killed Laura Palmer and you do the hooting sound and say that's a yes.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
When I'm being interrogated.
Yes.
Yeah, just popped into my head that at that particular moment I wanted to go, whoo, 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 whoo. I don't know why. But I did it, and David loved it. So it stayed in.
Incredible. Thank you, Ray. Kimmy, I want to ask you a little bit about season 3. So, in season 3 we learned that Lucy has a difficult time understanding cellular phones. And this leads to, actually, a stunt. A moment where Robert Forster as Sheriff Truman comes in and you fall backwards and scream. So I want to ask you about basically the filming of this scene, the filming of this stunt, and what you make of Lucy's inability to understand cellular phones. Let's start with the stunt.
The stunt. David Lynch, I was there doing my wardrobe fitting. A lot of running around that was. And he asked me to come in and meet this guy who was a really famous stunt man who was going to arrange this stunt. And I have a famously bad back. So David Lynch was very sweet about it and said, do you think you would be able to do this where you're sitting in a chair that will pull you back and you fall over backwards? And now, with this weird back, I was a ballet dancer for the first part of my life. And I went, are you joking? And he said, no, it's very serious. I said, no, I think I can do that. So we did that and my underpants kept showing. That part was bad. There was nothing I could do about my underpants. It made Mr. Lynch very uncomfortable. Why Lucy doesn't understand cellular phones? Well, fuck. It could be because you can get a hold of anybody 14 different ways at any time, 24/7, and Lucy doesn't like people getting a hold of her. I mean, that's my opinion, but I don't think really that's the real thing. I don't know why she didn't understand cellular phones. I never knew what I was doing.
Sabrina, I wanted to ask you a little bit about part 8. So part 8, we have the atomic bomb sequence. So I'd like to ask you about the designing of going into the bomb itself, the explosions. What can you tell us about how those explosions were created? Were they filmed? Were they generated? What can you tell us about the construction of that sequence?
Okay, David had an actual photograph of an atomic bomb exploding that he used in Eraserhead, and that same image is the one that blew up for behind Cole's desk in part 3. So that was very important that this particular explosion resembled that quite definitely. So that scene was all done by Booth, our visual effects company. And it took, I think they did an amazing job. It's beautiful. You would not know that really it is a work of visual effects because it looks so real if you actually saw how those were done. And so that's how that was put together. It was all Booth for that, and the pace and everything was David. Like, they had it done real quick, and you know, David's wants things slow. So that's, you know, we went back and forth with it, but it turned out, I think, beautiful.
Well, I was going to ask you a question about the fireman in part 8, but I figure maybe we should just ask the fireman himself. Can we maybe bring out CAREL STRUYCKEN? Do we have him somewhere? So, CAREL, welcome. I wanted to ask you about your first day on set. The scene where you appear in Cooper's room and give him the 3 clues, and Hank Warden, playing the room service waiter, is walking very slowly. What were your first impressions of your character, of the set that day, and what stories can you tell us about that?
Well, I already was a big fan of Twin Peaks, so I was actually a little bit nervous coming on the set, and David walked up to me and said, shook my hand and said, everything is going to be peachy keen. That was the first and last time I heard that expression. And then we started kind of positioning ourselves, and one of the first things that David requested from the cameraman was to shoot really low, and whatever they tried, it couldn't go low enough. So they had to get a special kind of prism, and the cameraman said, well, that's going to take about an hour. And David said, okay, well, that's what it is. That's very unusual on a film set because every minute costs a fortune. And then when the prison arrived, we got to do our scene, and we both Hank and I apparently didn't do it slow enough, so we had to do it over and over and slower and slower. And that was the first time. Yeah.
Thank you. Carl, I have one more question for you. I wanted to ask you about part 8. The scene where you're in your world and you're floating up and that golden orb comes out. So how was that scene done with the levitating? Was that done somewhere else on set? And how much did you know about that scene that you were filming, about what you were going to be doing?
I knew how it was going to be, although, I mean, once I saw it, it was breathtaking. I mean, it was beautiful. The reality is that, of course, you don't float, you put on a box with green curtains hanging around you, and that's the magic of film.
Well, thank you so much, Carl. Carl STRUYCKEN, everybody.
So cool.
What a guy.
Cheryl, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the character of Laura Palmer. So, we have a lot of scenes where there's an idea put out that if everybody in town would have listened to Laura, she could have been helped. There's Bobby at the funeral, his speech. There's the scene in The Missing Pieces where Dr. Hayward tells her the angels will return, and yet Laura gets a phone call from her dad, and they know something's wrong, and nobody does anything. I wanted to ask you, in your opinion, what did you make of this when you were playing Laura Palmer? Did you kind of feel that, and do you think that Laura could have been saved if somebody had intervened?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, sometimes we scream really loud for help, and sometimes it's a whisper, and sometimes it's a prayer that's as subtle as a breeze. But if you're watching and you're paying attention, you'll see it.
And David seemed to really be keyed into this idea and extremely empathetic, it seems, in his direction and the way he presents his material. So speaking of screams, I have to ask you about the incredible final shot of the series, the filming of Carrie Page's final scream that ends part 18. Basically, as an actress, what was your experience? Where did you pull the scream from? And what was your experience on set that day doing the scream out there on the street?
It was from the middle of planet Earth. There's a lot to scream about. What was the rest of the question? What was it like?
Yeah, what was the experience actually on set when you're in that moment?
Well, I feel like one of the gifts that I was given being able to work with David over all these decades is getting to time travel. And that was a night of time traveling.
Very interesting. Thank you, Cheryl. Now I have kind of a little bit of a more amusing question for anybody and everybody that wants to answer this, anybody that wants to take it. In season 2, there was a new actor announced named Fumio Yamaguchi, who in reality was Piper Laurie in disguise. So, I'm going to ask anybody that wants to take it, did you know that that was actually Piper Laurie? And can you tell me a little bit about that?
Can I start, Ray? Can I start before you tell a good story? Tell my story. I was at craft services and they walked by. And I was like munching. Oh, there goes Piper Laurie, dressed like and from Japan. And I called up Harry and I said, Harry, Piper Laurie's on the set and she's dressed like a man from Japan. And we're not supposed to notice.
They came into my dressing room and said, Piper Laurie is going to be this Asian man, but please don't recognize her. I'm serious. Don't recognize her because it'll destroy the whole thing. Okay. So then I came out of the Great Northern Room and I was singing my songs to Richard Beamer and the other people, and Piper Laurie's in the back there as the Asian man. And I couldn't contain myself. I thought, yeah, that's Piper. Come on. But we couldn't do it. We couldn't say it, and in front of her, or else she would have crazed a lot, and she would have caused a lot of hell on set if somebody recognized her. So nobody ever recognized her, but we all recognized her.
Everyone knew. Everybody.
Yeah, you knew her. Didn't you?
I knew. Yeah. What? Yeah.
I mean, she was a nice-looking Asian man. But it still had that Piper Laurie look to her,
Even on the call sheet, they put Piper Laurie's name wasn't on the call sheet. It was like some man's name,
Yeah.
But there was a directive definitely that we weren't supposed to know that.
Yeah, that was one of the weirder moments on set. The whole Piper Laurie thing.
The weirdest thing was, so with the crew, and Mike Malone will back this up, we were told also we could not recognize her. We had to pretend this was somebody else. She was with a translator who's Japanese, and you had to ask the translator a question. He would translate to her, and she would come back with nothing Japanese, but something that sounded yeah. And then he would respond.
It sounded like Japanese.
Yeah, and that's how you had to move forward.
A translator. You believe that? A translator. My goodness. One of the weirder moments.
Amazing, thank you. Dana.
Hey.
You've got quite a few.
Did you know, man? Dana, did you know about Piper?
Dana, you had quite a few scenes in the woods in Twin Peaks. So there's two of them I want to ask you about. The first one is with Cheryl in Fire Walk With Me, which is a scene where you both begin the scene very high. You end up shooting Deputy Cliff. You become quite sober, and Cheryl is still high. So you really kind of have to run the emotional gamut in this scene. So what was your experience filming this in the woods, and how do you recall David directing it? Cheryl, if there's anything you want to add, feel free to.
Let's tag team this. It was a long scene, and it was in the middle of the night, and it was in the woods, so it was freezing cold. And we would start. Cheryl, David wasn't famous for putting up like moonlight. There was no like ambient light. It was like flashlights. And he would start us away from the set, like way out in the woods.
Yeah, far.
Someone would like yell, we could hear it because it was the woods. And then we just would start walking in and, laughing. She was like, driving me crazy with all the laughing. I was there to get some business done, man. And then, and so I remember we would always start way out there. And then I remember after we shot the guy in the head, we
I did not do anything.
like, you're there by law, I think. But anyway, I remember that after we shot the guy in the head, David got, I shot him, and David got rubber gloves on. It was like 3 in the morning, it was freezing cold. And he got rubber gloves on, and he got down there on Danny Aiello's son, right, his head, and was making the brains just how he wanted them. And so when I lifted up the head, you could really get a good view of the damage. And I remember I was really impressed, I was just so, I just loved it so much that David was so into the way I looked. And everybody was like loving it. It was 3 in the morning, no one cared, right?
Yeah, anytime that we got to shoot, like outside, especially when you're outside in those woods at night, you're just, the trees and the owls and the moon and everything else out there is, you know, they're all the characters with you in the scene.
Yeah.
And I did not do anything. Just to be clear.
He killed Mike. So Dana, speaking of Mike, there's a scene in episode 2 with you and Mike out in the woods with Leo Johnson.
Yeah.
And there's a man behind a tree.
That's what I thought Malone was. I thought Malone was that man, but I'm wrong, I guess.
So I was going to ask you a little bit about your experience filming that scene, but I figured I'd bring somebody out here to talk about that scene with you.
That's an excellent idea.
So I wonder who we could bring out. I mean, I don't know, maybe Eric DeRay. What do you think? If he's around somewhere? We have Eric DeRay in the house. Do we have Leo Johnson? Does he have Silver Soft? Let's hope not. Hey, everybody. So I guess Eric and Dana, let me ask you, what are your memories of filming that sequence, how David directed it, and what you felt doing that?
Well, what happened?
Grab the mic.
During that scene, what happened, the reality is I was sitting there and I totally blanked on my lines. Completely blanked. And I just stayed there for a second, hoping it was going to come back to me. And it didn't. And David just said off camera, he goes, just keep going, just keep going. So it was edited, but I think I stood there for about 2 minutes. And then I remembered the line. And then I delivered it, and he said, perfect. It was interesting because he got what he wanted, and when I watched it, I see what he saw. It was that moment.
Remember about the Leo blue shoe, they used to do a pair of shoes and all that? Yeah. I remember also that David, when we got there, it was still like light out before we started shooting, and
When it was 15 degrees.
I was pissed about that. He was mad that they didn't have the Barracuda for Bobby and Mike to be driving. They had this Trans Am, and he was mad at Greg Feinberg. Very, very mad at Greg Feinberg. Greg was like, we couldn't find it. He's like, look, this is Los Angeles. Every car in the world is here. Yeah, cold. It was freezing.
Yeah, but it was, I loved that night. I loved the way that whole scene played out. Yeah.
It's scary, right?
Yeah, it's an amazing scene. So Eric, let me go back to the beginning. So how did you first get cast in Twin Peaks? What was your experience with that? How did that happen?
You know what? I missed a really good point on that evening.
Oh,
when I delivered the line, I kind of was embarrassed. So I just kind of was looking down. And that's when David said, Neil needs a new pair of shoes. That line came up. I was looking at my feet. Waiting for him to say, cut. Very important. Yeah, I remember that night well.
This one?
So, but Eric, how did you get cast?
How did that happen?
It was pilot season, and as you know, my mom was a casting director, and I was working with her assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pilot season, so none of the actresses like me couldn't come in until after 10 p.m. So they asked me to read with them, and I was so reluctant to it. I was embarrassed, and I didn't want to be there. So I thought I could come in and read with them, but I did it reluctantly. And then I don't remember how many days later it was. David went to New York to do casting there, saw a few people there, and then called me from New York, which was really weird because he never called me directly anywhere. That was when we were propaganda films, and he asked me if I would play Leo Johnson. And first thing out of my mouth was, "You're full of shit." This isn't real. He goes, "No, I promise you, I will you play Leo Johnson." I said, "Sure." Just probably got sure I'll do it. And I'm not really thinking anything of it. And sure enough, that was it.
Wow, it's amazing.
A lot of us knew Eric before Twin Peaks because he would always work with Joanna Ray, the casting director, his mom, in the office. So actually when I came to my audition for Twin Peaks, it was just a meeting, but I got into the office and I'd read the script and Eric was like keen on the script. He was like, dude, this is funny, right? I mean, and we were like, yeah, the lady with the drapes and the one eye. And we were laughing about it, and so I took that energy into the room when I met David, and I, you know, so it really helped me. You know, Eric was, he was a great help to all of us going in.
I remember I came and you were running the desk and running everything.
Yeah.
I said, what, do I have sides? And you said, no. I said, I got 2 sets of sides. Do I use either one? No. Do I use anything? No. Do I need to know anything? No. That was true.
And his mother, Joanna, is somewhere here in the audience, isn't she?
Yeah, somewhere.
Our casting director. He's here.
And also with Joanna, we also have Colleen, who was the daughter of Don Murray, Bushnell Mullins, who's an amazing actor. So, Eric, I wanted to ask you about your experience, your first day filming playing Leo Johnson on the pilot. What can you tell us about that? The scene with the cigarettes?
Do you remember the night before that show?
Yes.
There was a party for the cast and crew at Seattle.
Yeah.
Cheryl and Michael Horst and I decided we wanted to continue the evening. Took one of the production into the city, and I don't remember it that well. Cheryl may remember it better, but I ended up in jail that night. And Michael Horst bailed me out of jail at 4:30 in the morning, bless his heart, and took me right to the set. And that was my the very first scene shot up there. My scene. And I went right from jail to the set, action. And so, literally, that's what happened. Not proud of it, but an interesting thing when you watch it to realize that's taking place. And thank Michael Horst for the portrait.
Some of that energy put into the scene then with the cigarettes.
I didn't see you for a few days after that. Did you know that I went to jail?
I don't think it was until later. Because when, was that the first season?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was like, just this kid studying theater, I was like, I guess this is what they do in But I don't think I knew that. I went home. I don't think I knew that part until
The production van. It was the production van. He lifted a production van, I think.
Michael took that back.
Well, Eric, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Leo Johnson himself.
I won't tell them about our trip to Italy.
Okay.
That was a
Kimmy.
trip, boy. Okay.
Oh, sorry, Ray, what was that?
No. Go.
Kimmy,
Yes.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
The Miss Twin Peaks pageant. Lucy does a dance.
Yeah.
And at the end of the dance, she does the splits. I don't know if that explains Wally Brando or not, but she does the splits at the end of the dance. And I
I
wanted
was
to know.
already pregnant, remember? She did the split?
She was pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Oh, I see what you mean.
yeah. But my question is, how did that dance team come to be? And did you propose an alternate idea for the talent show for Lucy?
Okay, I was sitting at my desk and as Lucy, waiting between scenes, and I saw David Lynch and Mark Frost at the end of the hall sniggering and looking at me and shaking hands and then sniggering and looking at me. And then they started walking towards me and I went, oh shit. I'm fired. And they came up and they looked down at me and they said, Lucy, we know you can dance, right? And I said, well, yeah. And they said, we want you to dance and we're gonna have a Miss Twin Peaks contest and that's gonna be your talent. And I went, why? He said, because we thought it would be nice for you to dance on Twin Peaks. And I said, okay. And then they said, oh, and we want you to choreograph it. And I went, okay, wait, real choreography or Twin Peaks choreography? And they said, oh, Twin Peaks choreography for sure. So I said, okay. Then later I was ruminating. I went home and I put Matt the Knife on and I choreographed it in 2 seconds because it's so shitty. So I came to work and I said, David, I have an idea. I wrote a song once while I was tubing in a river. Maybe Lucy could sing this dumb song instead. Since it's a Miss Twin Peaks talent contest, it's not supposed to be really good anyway.
So Kimmy, is there any chance that we can hear this song? Does everybody want to hear Kimmy's song? This is like a deleted scene. A missing piece.
I've been told that I have to stand up to do it. Okay. I'm just a donut, but I'm in the coffee cup of life. Oh, please don't dunk me. Save me from this strife. I'm just a donut waiting to be glazed. Some people say I'm from outer space.
And our new Miss Twin Peaks is Lucy Moran. Who's Annie?
He said no.
So Ray, speaking of singing,
Yeah?
Leland Palmer is quite the song man, you know what I mean? He does a lot of singing. So I was going to ask you about a little bit of the song and dance.
Well, Leland he had a decent tenor baritone voice. Yeah.
Well, for instance, in one scene, he's singing Surrey with a Fringe on Top, and he's driving wildly.
Yeah.
And he picks up a golf club, like he's going to hit Agent Cooper. Now, what do you recall about filming that scene, driving crazy, and the golf club?
What?
Do you remember the scene where you're driving wild and you're singing?
Oh, yeah.
And then you pick up the golf club.
I have her body, Maddy's body in my golf bag.
Exactly.
In the trunk of my car.
And you pick up the club. Was
Yeah,
that moment?
pick up the club.
How did that moment come to be?
The trunk of my car, and I want to hit Cooper really bad. My favorite FBI agent.
Was that an improvised moment on your part, the golf club?
What?
Was that an improvised moment on your part, the holding the golf club? Was that improvised?
That was improvised, yes. I was not told to take the golf club and appear to almost hit him, but that's what I did in the scene. You know, these things happen. And it could have happened that I would actually have hit him. But it didn't, so good for Kyle.
So then the dancing scene where the Icelanders are dancing and you're doing the reindeer dance, was that moment an improvised moment?
I made up the reindeer dance, yeah. I was told that I had to dance with myself. When the music started playing, I danced with myself, and the reindeer, the horns just happened. I don't know why or how, but they just came out. And then Piper Laurie saw it, you know, she was grooving on it, you know. She dug it. She was some chick that Piper Laurie had. Like the horns, I don't know. Yeah, I made up the reindeer dance, yeah. But I refer to it as the Leland Shuffle. Yeah.
So while we're on the subject of singing and dancing,
Yeah.
now I know you hate when people ask you this, and I know it's really asking a lot. I know you're probably going to hate me for even saying it, but is there any chance that maybe we could hear one of Leland's greatest hits live? Is there any chance? I know you hate it. I know you hate it. Does anybody want to hear him do a Leland song? Anybody want to hear it? I mean, they want to hear it. Not for me, not for anybody else. They want to hear it. We got to give it to them, right? I mean, come on.
Oh, I don't. Oh, mercy, little lansy, I can't believe I too, wouldn't you? Oh, mercy, little lansy, I can't believe I too, wouldn't you? And though the word sounds queer, oh, there goes the water and funny to your ear. A little bit jumpy and jivey, say mares eat oats and does eat oats and little lambs eat ivy.
Key change.
A kiddly ivy too, wouldn't you? A kiddly ivy too, wouldn't you?
Legend.
Oh, I know you got me started now. Getting to know you, getting to know all about you, and getting to like you, getting to hope you like me. I hope you do. I'll stop right now.
Ray, that was amazing. Ray Wise, everybody. Leland's greatest hit. Ray, while I have you here, I have to ask you.
What, you have me?
While I have you here, captive.
Yeah.
I have to ask you.
While you have me, go.
The white hair. When did you first find that out, and what was your experience having to dye your hair white?
Ah, yeah, the white hair. Yeah, it got sprung on me one morning. David said, Ray, you're going to kill Jacques Renault. And then the next morning, you're going to have white hair. It's going to turn overnight. Okay. And so I had to go to this beauty shop on Ventura Boulevard, and they used major chemicals on my head for about 6 or 7 or 8 hours. I don't know how long. I was there all day to get it to white, because I had very dark hair at the time. Not now. Now I can play the hell out of Leland right now. And so they bleached my hair white, and I came back to kill Jacques, and turned white overnight. When I was in this hospital in Burbank, this little hospital, we were shooting that night. It was like about 1 o'clock in the morning, and Walter Olkowitz was lying in the hospital bed. He was Jean Renault, and I had to smother him with a pillow. Now Walter's a big guy. He's about, he at the time, I think he was close to 300 pounds. And so it took all of my strength to push that pillow down on his face and to hold it down until he would expire. And while I was doing it, I had this desire to scream. When you're really smothering somebody? You really want to go, ah, But I'm in a hospital, and it's quiet, and I don't want to make noise. So I did the silent breathing. I did the... until he was gone. And I think it was a couple of years later, I'm watching God with Me, and I see the scene where Al Pacino's daughter gets shot, and he does a silent scream. Do you remember it? Only he ends up his silent scream with a ah, like that. No. I thought when I saw that, I said, Al, that's a good move, man. It's a good move. Well, that's the white hair and the killing.
Thank you, Ray. That's amazing. Cheryl, I want to ask you about part 18. There's a sequence where you and Cooper are driving, and there's a lot of silence in that sequence. And in that silence, there's a lot of mood and a lot of atmosphere. So I'm curious, what are your memories of how David directed that scene and created those moments? And what was your experience filming that?
We were time traveling again, and the space that he gives actors is just, it's incredible, because you really, really have spaciousness to let what wants to happen, happen. There's no rush, there's just, this is happening, and you're in this unknown, even though he might tell you a little bit of the known, but it's the spaciousness that, and the time traveling in the car. That was really, I loved being in that car. That was a good time.
Wonderful, thank you, Cheryl. And you had a lot of scenes in Fire Walk with Me with James Marshall. And I think we may have him here. Do we have James Marshall anywhere?
No way.
Do we have James Marshall? James Marshall.
Crazy. No.
Amazing. Thank you for being here, James.
Thank you, guys. Should have had a drink, huh?
So, James, I have a couple questions for you.
Okie doke.
I want to ask you about the scene, and this is another very David-specific question. In episode 2, where you're sitting on the couch with Donna in the dark. How did he create the atmosphere, and what was his direction to you in that scene? What are your memories of filming that?
This particular one was, for me, it was one of my best memories, because it quintessentially said for me who David was in his whole vibe, basically. Lara Flynn Boyle and I were doing the scene, and he basically would cater, he would gravitate toward, at least when I worked with him, and when I know I did, he just didn't work, he didn't direct me a lot, he tended to direct the women more. So I was kind of, and I was kind of waiting now and then, was he gonna sing? You know, and I can't be that good, you know what I mean? So at some point, and so he kept going up to Lara, do the blah, blah, and the funny thing was I had more of the dialogue. So I'm sitting there and he comes up to Lara again and he starts, you know, well, if you just do it a little more breathy and if you kind of, you know, do that pause again or whatever, and he starts to walk away and he goes, oh, and James. And I was like, oh, fine. And he comes over and he kneels down right about here. We're on the sofa, so we're like this, and David wore his little cap a lot. So all I saw was this bill like this and his two hands like this. And for about, literally, probably about 2.5 to 3 straight minutes, all you saw was this. And he's down right here, and it's this. James, buddy. And he's going, and the crew, you hear, probably about 1.5 minutes more, keeps going, he's really going, right? And he goes, go for it, buddy. Kill him.
I want to ask you also about a scene I got to read that a lot of people wondered about. And I heard that scene was filmed. It's the scene with James and his mother. So what can you tell us about what that scene was like?
That was weird. It was it was one of the scarier moments for me, but what was so strange, it was so heartbreaking. I didn't have much dialogue in it, and it was a strange thing because James, there's no real background on him, there's nothing on him really. But they had this one scene where he goes up to, it was great because I barely got to read the dialogue. You know, you don't read much, you get a few pages, and then he keeps things secret. So I get to the set, and there's this trailer, like a really dilapidated, broken down, sad trailer, and like a $500,000 Rolls Royce just sitting in the driveway, and it was like, you know, it was like, so it was like, Mom isn't doing too good, so she's, so I came up, my character comes up to her, the bike pulls up, and I knock on the door and we're trying to have a conversation. It was a little bit like a throw to East of Eden on James Dean when he goes to see his prostitute mother. And he kind of, I just wish they kept that scene in because the writing was crazy good and the woman who played it was just really, really a great actress. And I did not really have any dialogue. She was just, I couldn't stop, like tears were welling up and I'm like getting pissed and then more tears. And I was like, they cut it. And I'm like, that was the only decent acting I did. Serious? So yeah.
I was about to ask you about an amazingly acted scene. You did a lot of fantastic acting.
Thank you.
Absolutely. No, you sure did. All over the place. And if I had more time, I'd ask you about the scene with SHERYL and Fire Walk With Me. What a true amazing scene. But I wanted to ask you about the scene in the pilot with Lara Flynn Boyle, where you're up on the hill and you're both grieving Laura, and then you kind of discover your love for each other. Now I heard that was a freezing cold night. So what did you do as an actor to kind of pull that emotion out and make that scene happen?
Well, it was, I wish I had something entertaining and funny to say about that night because it was so, it was just miserable. It was like what you were saying, it was like super cold, we had no football. My one memory of it is basically pretty boring, I think, for most people, is just that it was so, it went pretty quickly for me because it was such a beautifully written scene and it went on for, I think, we had already rehearsed it so many times, so I think we had done it over and over and over and over. And here I was, also I was 22, at the time I was 22 years old. I had just gotten this job, and I'm sitting there with, I already knew who David Lynch was. I was a big fan of Eraserhead, but I wasn't an obsessed fan. I just knew who he was, and I really loved his work. But here I am sitting with David Lynch and kissing one of the most beautiful women. And I'm sitting here and doing this incredibly beautiful, like, scene over and over and over. So really the night for me went pretty quick. And not to me, but it really did. I mean, it was very dreamlike, like David would say. It was like he was like right there most of the time. And it was very intimate. You forgot we were in the woods. I didn't really even feel the cold. Sorry, I'm getting a really weird echo with this, so it's like nervous and hearing the echo, so I should have a shot, James. So basically it was like super, super beautiful. Nothing funny to be said, other than that he was doing the same type of thing. He was like, yeah, I don't think he directed me once. The whole night. He was coming up, it was Laura's night. It was like, I had all this dialogue, you know? Laura, breathier, you know? But yeah, that was a really beautiful night. I do remember sitting on the bike. It was this, we almost had the Harley here tonight. My friend Harley, who owns the bike from up north, was going to come down, but he couldn't. Blah blah blah. He almost did. We would have had the Harley sitting in the front. But that thing, like, I think it happened twice. It's just me and Laura were sitting on it, and we just slowly because of the mud, and we were on a hill, and the thing's heavy, and we got two people leaning on it. And so David would have to move the cameras a little bit, everybody would adjust a little bit, and he's like, no, let's not move the bike back up the hill, we're just gonna do this. And you go, again, I didn't even know it was raining. Okay.
Amazing. Thank you so much, James. That was awesome. Thank you. James Marshall, everybody. Thank you, James. I have one final question, and then we're going to go to one last special surprise. Harry, I wanted to ask you about filming with Nayuki, who played NATO, with her eyes shut. You played a little bit of a practical joke. Can you tell us about that?
Nine, correct? Yes. And she's a big star in Japan. And when she came to the set, she had some type of device all the way across her face, you know, like some type of play thing that David had done. And so the whole day, she never saw anybody. No one. Just all day. So right before, when someone would say, roll camera, I would lean over to her and say, now remember, I'm the most handsome man in the world. 4 times.
Thank you, Harry. So,
I just want to give a shout out to Debbie Zoller, who actually did that prosthetic, and I think it's quite good.
It's pretty amazing. So, we have, before the show ends here, we have one little surprise for you, and I'm going to turn it over to Sabrina to announce this.
All right, so I want to thank you all for being here, like I said early on.
We love you guys.
Mark Frost wanted to thank you so much for being here and supporting the show. He's thrilled that you came out and that we're doing this. And also Jennifer Lynch, Sense for Love. And David Lynch, unfortunately, he passed away earlier, I guess a year ago. Sorry. But he really wanted us to do this. He was going to be a part of this. He was going to take some questions by Zoom. Oh gosh, I didn't realize I was going to cry. Sorry. So we wanted to give a tribute tonight to David that Josh and I put together, and hope you enjoyed it.
being part of his artistic vision is a true joy.
We all work really well together and it's really fun. I love working with him. It's excitement, it's a challenge. He's just so very creative and just a pleasure to work with because he knows what he wants.
I went straight to the set, and of course I had a ponytail, and everyone's like, well, can we cut that? And kind of a silly question, well, I guess we're gonna cut that, Andy's not gonna wear it. I went straight into wardrobe, got fitted, very easy. Got those measurements, walked straight over to David, and we chatted. I'm sure we were excited, but it was just like seeing an old friend, but only like seeing an old friend from like a week ago.
I can picture some bunnies. The word bunnies for you is, you say it twice.
Okay.
Do you want some bunnies? I'll say it right. Yes, I do.
No.
SHERYL Lee, come over here, sweetheart. Wow.
At this particular moment.
No kidding. Hi, sweetie.
Try not to cry.
Turn and get up and walk backwards.
Turn in and walk out
This way
backwards.
and trip over this and someone will catch you.
Okay. I hope you're large and strong.
Yeah, I hope so.
And yes.
Yeah.
One day we'll have to be
I'll have to do it.
Just do it.
I thought Thursday he was going to disappear. It's a good thing I cut it. We wouldn't have him. Bobby.
I go down.
Great.
Right on.
Bobby's still leading the way on this part. So you can come up into here. And present it to them. And he walks up there and he turns around and he says, "This is
General's Palace. That's neat up here. That's it. General's Palace.
Oh, it's really great.
Come on, you gotta get out of his house.
Beautiful.
I was nervous for a second. I was like, okay.
You just gotta wait a little bit. Right about here, this place you're gonna vomit. You have some cream corn? The vomit is a wrap. Okay, you got it? Okay. Now we're all gonna have cookies and graham crackers and milk. This ladder is fantastic. Actually, I wouldn't mind stuff like this. This is airy.
Yeah, it is. I think so. I wouldn't have to, hang myself.
Your own toilet, bed. All you need is some paints and stuff, and you can get to work. You can be going even a little bit faster. Yeah, you know, almost running. Yeah, almost running. Sabrina, you don't have to find an exit. You can just be having come down there and yell kind of over the wall to David. He's over here. He's leaving. Now go ahead. We're on the step. Okay, champ.
Who's directing this picture?
Oh, David.
Okay, now look at this smoke again and take your pink slip as you go out.
It's pretty heavy. Fantastic. Aiming for solid gold, buddy. I love it. It's so good, Albert. Good, Albert. Ready to rock?
Let's do it, Gordon.
Okay.
Let's show them a little something.
Yeah, damn right, pal. Stop. No, you just you can hit him on the shoulder and the head. You know.
I love myself.
Strangle. twice and then strangle him. You can slap me. Yeah, you can. No, come on. Slap me. You're pissed off. Slap me.
I don't want to.
Oh, sweetheart.
You gotta arch your arm way back above your head and slam that into her chest. My God!
Keep that thing straight and take it right through his legs and sever his spinal cord. Little steps. And it's kind of like, do a little bit of a bounce. Little steps. You're just like a little cherub.
It's the energy that I believe is around us all the time. I think he works in that energy field. It's called love. That's the word for it. And he uses that on a set.
Kiss it and give it so much love.
And close your eyes. And hold it there.
You smile and let it out. 2:53, fellas.
Yeah,
I'm not even in there a minute.
Jesus, where is it? 2:53. We're 1 minute off that right now.
Are you kidding me?
No.
That's pretty weird.
253. What does that have to do? Yes, what is that?
Completion.
Number of completion. Yeah, okay. Okay, so. And then,
637. 6 to 3 is a 9, and 7 is 16, and 1 and 6 is a 7. So they got it at a 7, my numbers say. You can see they got up to 502, and it's a 7.
You do this automatically, or is
No,
it
I
you
set.
set? You set.
I said it.
Ready, boss?
Who's the boss?
Oh, yeah.
You're right.
we got like a dozen eggs and some cream corn.
Yeah, that's a deal.
I'm running.
We're not going to have some nice breakfast after we're going. Hey, Mary, how you doing? Good.
I've been here to the house.
You've never been here.
Well, it's on this house.
It's our house to divide it.
And then as soon as you hear that, Carrie, you snap toward that house with all this kind of knowledge building. And then you see it in a whole different way. All this stuff comes back. And you'll scream enough to get the house, all the lights out. And a long fade out. And you'll probably keep screaming in darkness and then be over. Sure. Okay.
I might have them hold your hair back completely. Your wig. With sort of wet paper towels.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put dough on your face.
Oh my
And
God.
I'm going to put a bloody finger in your mouth.
Oh my God.
The entire cast
Look at the face.
sitting on the floor watching this.
Oh my God. I forgot about that.
It's so cool.
I forgot, I'm sorry. I swear I did.
That's okay, you don't have to give me after this.
No, it's your last day.
Wait. Open your mouth. Open your mouth.
It's fantastic.
Because we're making them when you drop by here, like, and look, I'm looking for you. Look, it's perfect, you can direct this thing. Come on, let's do it. You don't have a so you should be the guy. All right.
Your trailer, meditating from noon to 1.
Oh, no, I'll be meditating from 8:30 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon.
Ready?
Yeah, that was good.
Let's start it now. Carol, Dinyas. This is a keeper. Carol, Dinyas.
Cut. 3 of our dearest friends, Lucy, Huck, and Bobby, are a wrap.
Thank you, Bobby.
There's nobody like you, Malcolm. It's an honor to be part of your artistic process. It really is.
Bless you, Mike.
Here.
I like the little Irish song. Are you born English too?
I'm not. I know some English people I like. Let's see now.
If you be the last of all grown, as I take it, you need to be. Tell me the first token that passed between you and me. Don't you remember?
Okay. This is very strange, isn't it? Isn't England well at 25 years later?
I'm sorry now to tell. Oh, the rain falls on my head, the ice, the dew that wets my skin. My babe lies cold within my heart, and I'm very again.
Ladies and gentlemen, principal photography is a wrap.
As a creative being, he is beyond compare, and we are all of us. And I know we all feel this, but I'm just saying it. Extremely grateful to be able to work with him. So this is for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, speaking personally, I've never gone down the road with a better bunch. Thank you all very, very, very much.
Thank you, everybody. Everybody with a dime Backbeat, please line up. So everybody with an autograph ticket. About in 20 minutes approximately, the autographs will begin outside. And everybody, and can we get James, Carl, and Eric here? Can we have? A big hand for Dana Ashbrook, Harry Goaz, Kimmy Robertson, James Marshall, Sabrina Sutherland, Ray Wise, SHERYL Lee, STRUYCKEN, and Eric DeRay. And are we going to get a photo? Photograph? I guess not. Okay. Oh, we have. Yeah. We're going to take a photograph of all of us and all of you. Oh, backwards. Yeah. It's not fall.
We made it. Alright, we're gonna go IRL now. That was great. That was actually really good. That was actually really good, dude. That was super good. Dude, that was actually super good. That was so good, dude. Well worth the 50 bucks. It's worth it. No, thank you for letting me just stream that. Thank you. Alright, let's go outside. Wow.
Oh, there's.
That was really good. That was super, super good.
But that is, yeah, I don't know if that's a, is that sort of like a,
Oh wait, let me go off of Wi-Fi.
with different.
Okay. We should be off of